For our second deck of the Standard Showdown Gauntlet, we have Green-Black Delirium. Wait a minute, this isn't Green-Black Delirium. This is an interesting take on Green-Black. Luis Scott Vargas posted on his Standard Showdown checkpoint last week or a week before that about a new type of Green-Black. This one is particularly aggro-based. You try to get a lot of cards in your graveyard. You might notice that there aren't any actual blue sources in this deck beyond either hub. So Prized Amalgam is actually just going to come back by recursion. So let's give this a shot and see how it does in the match. Here we are for our match with Green-Black Delirium Emerge. We are on the draw, and I think we give this hand a shot. We have a turn 2 Smuggler's Copter, which is generally pretty good in Standard. I don't have a discard outlet beyond this Ghoul Steed right now, so we're going to look to find some other cards to help us out along the way. Looks like we're going to be playing against the Black-White Aggro Humans list. That's the only list that I can think of that runs Stern Constable. We'll lead off with the Hissarine Quagmire, since it does enter the battlefield tapped. And again, just looking for a few ways to get some more cards in the graveyard. We might very well be beaten down, before I can get going here. Alright, Stern Constable attacks for 1, Smuggler's Copter the follow-up. And yeah, drawing way too many lands here, I think. Ideally, we draw a creature that I can cast next turn, or a way to put cards in our graveyard. Because as it stands, it's not looking too good. I mean, if we just draw a creature, we can attack with our Smuggler's Copter, discard Prized Amalgam, and start doing a little bit of work, but... Alright, always watching turn 3 for the opponent, who's probably going to crew their Copter attack me for 4. Rough beats. Now their Copter beats mine in combat, should it come down to that. Alright, they discard a Plains. I'm going to fall down to 15 here, and here's an important turn. Bam! Alright, and with that, I think we're probably going to lose this game. Yeah. Not the best of draws here. We'll see what the opponent can muster up. Another Stern Constable. So it looks like this time we're probably going to be taking 6 with the opponent getting to loot one more time. Minimum. Stern Constable's kind of cool with always watching. You don't really think of that as a constructed card, or rather a standard card, but this is the one deck that works with it. Because then you can discard like Scroungers, and with always watching you can attack and then tap. Alright, Gnarlwood Dryad, only like 7 turns too late. I can't even attack. If I play the Dryad and crew, the opponent's Stern Constable is going to hit me. In fact, I think this is just a lost game here, but I'll try playing out. I'm going to just pass the turn. And if the opponent goes to tap my Stern Constable... Oh! The opponent didn't tap my Dryad. If they had gone to tap the Dryad, I would have been dead by the Shambling Vent. I guess I still am dead here, technically, aren't I? Yeah. Oh, the opponent mistapped. They mistapped their Shambling Vent to activate it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're still dead here. Oh, that's not true. The opponent doesn't... Oh, no, I'm sorry. They played a second Always Watching. I didn't even see that. Alright, well, that's pretty bad. But I do get to loot. Okay. So we crew the Copter. Go ahead and block since they don't have any cards in hand to discard. We get to loot. We discard Ghoul Steed. They eat our Thopter. They go to second main. I have to use the Ghoul Steed in the second main because Prized Amalgam specifically states whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it entered from your graveyard, you cast from your graveyard. Return Prized Amalgam from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped at the beginning of the next end step. So if you do this in end step, then you don't get the Prized Amalgam until the following turn. You have to do it on a main phase. And so now the Prized Amalgam comes back. And we drew a Blooming Marsh. Alright, we'll play out the Copter here. Play a land and pass. I guess we're not actually doing too badly. If I draw a removal spell for a Smuggler's Copter, we're not completely out of it. The thing about this deck, it doesn't have any main deck removal. And actually, it only runs 2 Smuggler's Copters, which is slightly awkward. The big payoff here is Decimator of Provinces. And again, I think I'm going to go ahead and activate and go for a block if the opponent lets me. From the sideboard, though, we do get a bunch of nice sideboard options. Get things like Ishkana, To the Slaughter, Collective Brutality, Deadweight, so hopefully we can find something. Alright, Grapple's a good one. We'll discard the Blooming Marsh. As that enters tapped. Opponent plays another spell here. Not sure what it is yet. They're not playing the spell. Okay, they might use it to tap. So we'll grapple. End of turn. Hit a Decimator of Provinces. Okay. And unfortunately, our hand is still poop soup. So we're not really doing much here. I do have Delirium now for our Gnarlwood Dryad, which is a boon, of course. I can't attack? Because the opponent can tap down and then attack and tap down. In fact, if the opponent sees it, I'm probably dead here. Okay, the opponent's still not tapping down my creatures with their Stern Constables. If they just go to attacks and tap down 2 of my creatures, I should lose? Right? Because all of their creatures have at least 3 power now. They activate they activate Shambling Vent, which is a 4/5 because of the double Always Watching. They tap down 2 of my creatures. Oh, I guess I'm not technically dead. I can survive at a few measly life points. Okay. I will fall down to 4 here. They discarded a Scrap Heap Scrounger, and they do have that Thalia's Lieutenant in the graveyard. Not sure why they're main phasing this, but not completely relevant, I suppose. Sure. We'll fall down to 4. And I need a miracle. Is Noose Constrictor a miracle? Not quite. And we'll have to scoop it up here. Noose Constrictor has reach, but the opponent can just tap it down, even though it seems like they haven't been aware of the tap down. Now remember, this list is just the list that I've taken from Louis Scott Vargas's Standard Showdown lists that are posted online. His checklist, or his check-in lists. What do we want to take out here versus the black-white aggressive opponent? And what do we want to add? Well, Ishkana, very solid. Collective Brutality seems like they could be okay. Liliana seems good. Deadweight seems okay as well. Corpse Churn's interesting. I think we cut the Corpse Churn. Probably cut one of the Decimators and cut a Ghoul Steed. Ishkana is just so powerful, as is Liliana. I still like the quad Prized Amalgam. Hopefully we can get that to work in the next game. I could probably sideboard like Deadweights as well, but I think we're going to run with this, and let's go to game 2. Alright, game 2 versus black-white human aggro. We are playing the green-black aggro Delirium. I'm going to play first. Ooh, and this is a nice hand. We get a turn 2 Smuggler's Copter, and we have 2 Scrap Heap Scroungers in our opening hand as well. So not only can I discard one with the Copter for value, but I also just get to crew the Copter on turn 2. Leading with the Hissing Quagmire once again. Opponent leads on a Town Gossipmonger. And now we can go ahead and play the Blooming Marsh. Wow, Gnarlwood Dryad also a very good draw, because now I can play the Dryad plus the Scrap Heap Scrounger on the following turn. Shambling Vent for the opponents. Let's see if they have another 1-drop. Ooh, it doesn't look like they do. I think that deck plays like 15 or 16 1-drop cards. Crazy enough. Haunted Dead, another nice one for us. Since the Scrap Heap Scrounger can't block... Oh shoot, I messed up! I was saying, since the Scrap Heap Scrounger can't block, we want to crew the Copter with that, but I tapped both of my only green sources, so now I need to draw a green source here in order to be able to play the Gnarlwood Dryad. That was a mistake on my part. Alright, well, we can discard a prized amalgam, which is good. I should have a Gnarlwood Dryad in my hand right now, though. I guess I'm also supposed to discard Haunted Dead there, aren't I? Because Haunted Dead, if you discard it, you pay the 2 and discard the prized amalgam as part of its cost, and it still enters. Okay, so another slight misplay on my part. Opponent's deciding to attack here with the Gossipmonger instead of transform it, which is good, I guess. Okay, grapple's a good hit. So, now let's do the correct play. Now let's play the Gnarlwood Dryad. Crew the Copter with it. Attack in for 6. See what we hit here. Liliana, we're definitely keeping her. We're going to discard the Haunted Dead. Hit the opponent for 6, and I think this is just too much value. Instead of going for the Haunted Dead, playing Liliana here and just killing the Thalia's Lieutenant is way too good. We can still make the Haunted Dead prize amalgam play in following turns. And you know what? Liliana just getting her down is excellent because of her -2. Alright, well, that still doesn't kill Liliana, and Liliana can kill Thalia's Lieutenant once again, so we're looking to be in pretty insane shape. Alright, Lily falls down to 1. We can take out the other Lieutenant once more. Let's start with that. Let's then play the Scrounger to crew the Copter. And there's merit to actually grappling main phase to try to hit Delirium for our Gnarlwood Dryad. So instead of dealing 7 here, we would be able to deal a 9. Okay, so let's discard the land. I think we just pass, though. Getting Haunted Dead and prized amalgams is going to end the game. No reason to get greedy and grapple. Alright, well, that worked out splendidly. Yeah. The synergies between Copter, Scrap Heap, Scroungers, like prized amalgam, Haunted Dead is just so crazy. Plus our opponent was missing land drops. I think on the draw, I might bring in Deadweights. Just for extra cheap removal. And maybe take out... Maybe just take out the Ghoul Steeds. They're so much worse than the Haunted Dead. And we already have so many other ways to discard cards. So I think we're going to try it like this. And let's try to take down this Game 3. Game 3 here with Black-Green Delirium Aggro versus Black-White Humans. Unfortunately, we're going to have to mulligan to 6. 1 lander here, not doing much for us. We do have a Deadweight, but again, we really need to just have some lands. This hand's great. Get a turn 1 Gnarlwood Dryad, turn 2 Scrap Heap Scrounger with Grapple on the past. Ooh, I really want to keep Decimator, but I think it's so greedy in this matchup to keep it this early. Really just looking to find some early game interaction. That was the dream, though. The dream was to Decimator. And remember, the opponent is a very quick deck. Having this Gnarlwood Dryad is going to probably save me a lot of life, just because it's so good at trading with mostly anything. Opponent lost connection there for a minute, but we're back, and they played a turn 1 Toolcraft Exemplar. Not an extremely large amount of ways for them to turn that on. They do have, let's see, the Scrap Heap Scroungers, of course. They have Thraben Inspector, which is a silly one. Thraben Inspector giving you a clue, which is, in fact, an artifact. I think I'll happily trade off my Gnarlwood Dryad should they let me. Ah, there's a Westvale Abbey. That's kind of scary. Alright, there's that Scrounger. So yeah, happy to block here. Trade off our Exemplar, or their Exemplar for my Dryad. Save us some life points. Alright, they opt not to attack. Yeah, we're gonna play Scrounger here. It's just so much better mana efficiency-wise. It doesn't block, but next turn I can play Scrounger and Dryad. And again, I'll just leave back my Dryad for the turn. Our opponent might try to either go long game with the Westvale Abbey, which is why they wouldn't attack, or they're trying to play 2 more artifacts to give their Exemplar first strike before attacking with it. Expedition Envoy the play, and Athalia's Lieutenant, okay. It's funny, the Exemplar is actually a dwarf and not a human, so it doesn't get a buff there. And now they want to attack, and now I will trade. Alright, we fall down to 17. Let's go to combat. Opponent's not going to trade off here. But if they do, I'm happy to trade it for the Envoy. And we'll just follow up with our second Dryad and another Scrounger. This might just be a simple face race. Unfortunately for us, Grapple, unlike Vessel of Nascency, can only get back creatures or lands. So getting back Gnarlwood Dryad is great, don't get me wrong, but we'd really like to draw like a dead weight. Alright, there's a Stasis Snare, undoubtedly taking my Dryad. And I'm going to take 7 damage here, falling down to 10. Opponent only has 1 card in hand, but they do have that Shambling Vent now. So I'm going to need a little bit of help, because this is just a face race. A face race that I am not winning. Another Grapple. Not exactly what we want to see. Alright, Scroungers beat in. They can't block, so they might as well bash. Now, I'm not dead on board next turn, but I'm at a pretty low amount of life. Ooh, Ishkana would be a nice one. Jeez, that is super tempting. If I take Ishkana here, I do have Delirium. Oh man, Ishkana is so good. What if I take the Gnarlwood Dryad, though? I take the Dryad, I play my land, I play Dryad. I can block one of their creatures, that's not even that great. I take Ishkana, I take 9 damage, assuming they activate the Lieutenant, or rather the Shambling Vent. But then I have 4 blockers? Oh gosh, I'm gonna go for Ishkana. This is scary, it's gonna be really close. It's going to be really close. Now, they might just draw Always Watching and kill me here, but that's a risk I'm taking. Alright, Gossipmonger doesn't do it. That does pump up Thalia's Lieutenant, but this is still not lethal. That being said, now they have 5... Oh, it is lethal. They did have a land for the last card. Darn! Alright, so we were close. I went with the greedier play, but I think that had the more higher upside of winning. I was playing to win as opposed to playing to not die. So we're going to take 10 here, die on turn 5. And just for good measure, let's draw a few cards. Say I had gotten the Gnarlwood Dryad back and played it and been able to block their 3/2. I would have taken 7 damage, fallen down to 3, grappled the top 3 cards, these away. Then I would have drawn for the turn. And we would have died anyways. Okay, so no big deal. Interesting deck for sure. I think it might not be the best well-positioned in this current standard metagame, but it's a sweet one for sure. Prized Amalgam and all the discard outlets can make green-black Delirium aggro a thing. Thanks for watching this episode of the Standard Showdown Gauntlet. Please check out our others, and we'll see you back next time.